All right. The markets actually view Vladimir Putin's brutality in a good way because they think it might make this a little quicker. President Zelensky of Ukraine indicated some flexibility. Dow up 650 points today. Americans grappling with mounting concerns. A NewsNation poll shows that they will endure an awful lot of pain to deal with this. Tomorrow, the inflation numbers come out. And it's going to say what we already know, which is that prices are way, way up. Somebody who has spent the night before inflation numbers talking to the White House and trying to figure out the talking points is Austan Goolsbee. He was senior advisor to President Obama and now teaches business and economics at Chicago's Booth School. It's good to see you, Professor. Thank you. Is there any reason to think that tomorrow the numbers aren't just going to be sky high?
No, you know, the way we report the inflation is a backward-looking 12 months. So we already know what 11 of the 12 months of the last year's inflation were, and they were definitely high. So there's no way it could not be high.
The talking point from the president, we've heard it, right? This is Putin's price hike, and that's how he's going to talk about rising gas prices, whatever the inflation numbers are. You say they're backward-looking, but look forward for me to say August or September. I intentionally picked something right before the midterm elections. They're going to be backward looking. The numbers we get tomorrow don't even price in this latest rise in prices, right?
Yeah, that's right. Look, and so that's before there was invasion in Ukraine and the price of oil went crazy. I think the best case scenario is that the new months by the summer would start to slow down, but the trailing 1 year in August is going to go from last August to this August. And we know most of those months were high inflation. So I think that the political timetable, as we've talked about before, political timetable on inflation is just totally different than the economic timetable. And that's why it's making them sweat. Now, this war and this conflict with Putin, the American people they're a pretty sober bunch. And to the extent that there is inflation that's correlated with standing up to someone like Vladimir Putin, I think people are a lot less angry about price increases like that than they are about just general inflation.
You know, you make a great point, and some of our polling actually shows that. We're going to get into it in a minute, but people support higher, tougher sanctions on Vladimir Putin, even if it means higher gas prices, 65% of Americans. But what they tell a pollster and what they do in the voting booth tends to be different. Just ask George H.W. Bush. He won the war against Saddam Hussein, lost the election on a recession.
Yeah, and that's an even bigger puzzle, because if you look back at 1992, you remember the whole election was about mishandling the recession, but actually the recession ended in 1991. If you look at the data, 1992 was not a bad year. So I think what we see in the media, what the voters see in the media has a disproportionate impact on their view of the economy compared. They don't vote their pocketbook. They vote what they read about.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. And
it's going to be a tough year for the incumbent.
You study consumer behavior. How much is consumer behavior based on, and you may have just sort of answered this, but I'll ask it again. How much of it's based on what they hear tomorrow in the inflation numbers and in the spin that comes out of the White House, et cetera, versus how they feel when they look at the rise in prices at the gas pump or they see that apples and meat are a lot more expensive in the grocery store?
Most of the research on that says that there are certain very public prices that people use as kind of a rule of thumb of what's happening with inflation. So it's not really what's happening to inflation on their whole budget, but big public prices like the price of gas that they see when they drive down the street have a way outsized impact on their view of what the inflation rate is. And that said, inflation's definitely been up. And it's always the case that the incumbent president at the first midterm has a tough go of it when they get in the voting booth. So I don't think that's going to be any different than what it's going to be this coming year.
You've said that and been consistent about it for a long time. Professor, I wish you a more enjoyable night than those in the White House having to deal with the talking points for tomorrow on this issue. And we appreciate your time, sir. It's good to see you. Thanks for sticking around, too. I know you got it somewhere to run. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.